Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today I'm going to be going over one build you should try on each role before the new patch. I think these builds will either get nerfed or just haven't been talked about very much. So yeah, I thought why not? Let's talk about some builds, have some fun, and this is honestly probably one of my favorite things in Dota. Just the ability to try out new things, right? Try out new builds, see how they interact with the game, and feel how powerful certain heroes can be when built with certain items. And so yeah, we're going to go into the item builds for every single one of these heroes as well, and let's get into it. Also, I want to tell you guys that if you've been struggling with solo queue and you're looking to get to the next rank, I'm going to be able to help you. Like literally with the gameleap website, I'm going to give you guys guides that are going to make it unbelievably clear on what you need to do. So if you've been stuck in the solo queue grind, you don't know what to do, and you want to become absolutely broken, but like actually you want to become much better at Dota, and you want to take it more seriously, the gameleap website is going to help you do that. So click the link down below. I'm going to help you get to the next rank, and I'll see you there. Alright, so we're actually going to start off with the position 5 role and go from there. So starting off with the position 5 role, we have Lich, but specifically we have Icespire Lich. So of course the item you'll be buying, specifically I recommend that you buy here, is the Shard. Now I wouldn't say that this is the most broken thing in the game, but I do think it's really good in pubs. Now why do I think Icespire Lich is good, and what is Icespire Lich? Well, if you don't know what Icespire is, it's Lich's Shard. So basically at minute 15, you can spend 1400 gold and you get to put down this Icespire. It's basically this totem you get to put down on the ground. You can't cast it that far, so you have to be a little bit careful about when trying to use it. But you put this thing down, in an AoE, it's going to slow people by 30%. Pretty noticeable, right? So it's a 30% slow, and that's it, kind of. That's all the description says, and in terms of its like numbers that it does, but it also allows your Chain Frost to bounce off of it. So typically when playing Lich, in order to get value out of your ultimate Chain Frost, you have to have 2 units close to each other. That could be 2 heroes, a creep and a hero, whatever it is, they have to be next to each other for your Chain Frost to do the maximum amount of damage. Now keep in mind, Chain Frost is one of the highest damage nukes in the game. It's a 250 damage nuke at level 1. Now, it bounces 10 times, which means this ability is a ridiculous amount of damage if it can actually bounce its max amount of times. If it hits a player 5 times, that's going to be 1250 damage. 1250 damage. Lion's Finger of Death at level 1 is 600 damage, half of the max potential damage you can do to one hero with Chain Frost. Half. Now, of course, you might be thinking to yourself, oh, but it's hard to use. That's true, except when you have your Shard. When you have your Shard, the execution is very simple. If you want to get really greedy, you can lead with your Frost Blast, especially if you take the level 10 talent. And then from there, you put down the Icespire, you throw out your Chain Frost, and then you Sinister Gaze them. And typically that's good enough to kill the majority of Dota heroes. As a support, you can walk up to basically whatever hero you want and solo kill them. And I'm not kidding, it's that straightforward. Because you have to keep in mind as well, is you have another nuke in Frost Blast, and your W does damage as well. So your hero just straight up pumps damage. And by the way, I actually made it even not as good as it should be. Keep in mind, your ulti slows, right, by 65%, and every single time it hits them or it bounces, it actually does more damage. At level 1, per bounce, it does 15 more damage. That's actually even more than 1250 damage, as crazy as that might sound. So if you haven't played this build, give it a shot, because basically you can run around, even without teammates, you can run up high grounds, find an enemy hero, drop all of your spells on them, and there's a really good chance you're going to kill them. If you're level 12, there's almost an 100% chance you're going to kill them because of how much damage it does, especially considering you're probably going to have Frost Blast damage plus 150, and you can buy a Veil as well. If you really want to double down, you can go like Aether Veil and just run around solo killing people on deep wards. It's so fun, and I would definitely recommend giving this build a try. If it gets buffed, it's going to be crazy, right? I think this hero will be quite good. It has some weaknesses, but let's not get into that right now. All right, next up, let's talk about the mid lane. Now, I'm not going to lie, this is a build I've talked about quite a bit on the channel, but I still want to talk about its potency and the fact that it's going to get nerfed. It's, in my opinion, somewhat inevitable, and that is Bloodstone Leshrac. If you haven't given this a shot, it just feels incredible. If you haven't given it a shot because you're like, it's too meta, it's too broken, I don't want to try it, because I know there's a lot of people like that, you have to give it a shot. It's extremely cheap. The Bloodstone item is only 4,400 gold. That is disturbingly cheap. You have to keep in mind as well, it builds from Mana Boots, one of the best early game items in the game. Any hero loves buying Mana Boots if they can, Leshrac being a huge proponent, of course, of mana boots. So you start with mana boots, which basically takes off 800 gold from the cost, because it's not like, oh, I have to build mana boots, that sucks. No, you're building mana boots on Leshrac, like that's fantastic. So the item essentially from there is 3,600 gold, right? A 3,600 gold item, if you want to look at it like that gives you 550 health, 550 mana, 30% lifesteal flat, and then when you activate its active ability, which is Blood Pact, it's a 30-second cooldown, very, very short. I think that's what they're gonna honestly nerf, probably to 40 or 45. Is my guess. That would probably be good enough to nerf the item in my opinion. If they just do that, I think that's like honestly fine. So basically what the active does is it increases your spell lifesteal by 2.5 times percent. By 2.5 times. And that brings your spell lifesteal up to 75%. That's insane. Also, the amount of damage you deal is converted to mana. And Leshrac does so much damage with Pulse Nova that it actually gives him mana back when he turns it on. So Leshrac, for the longest time, he had to buy like Kaya or Boots of Travel. The problem with buying those items, even though they help with your mana problems, is you were so squishy. Neither item gives you real defensive capabilities, right? You were so damn squishy. So squishy. Now you get to build an item that heals you when you activate it like crazy, gives you 500 health, and gives you mana as well. It's so synergistic with Leshrac, it's freaking insane. If you haven't given this build a shot, everything just works. Items you can buy after Bloodstone. If you want to initiate, get on top of backline heroes, go Blink. If you want to split push a bunch, go Bots. It's good for running into. It's honestly, Bots are very reliable. I think they're probably my favorite item after Bloodstone. If you want to go crazy, you can go Kaya and Sange, and then you're very tanky. It amps the spell lifesteal even more, because that's what Kaya does. It makes you not get bursted because of the Sange. And on top of that, it gives you even more mana, so you really never run out of mana if you go that route. But yeah, there's a lot of fun builds you can go, so definitely give this one a shot. And you can play it off lane too. Next up is the safe lane role, and we're going to talk quickly about Battle Fury Ursa. I actually love Battle Fury Ursa. Every time I see this build, it looks really strong to me. Because basically Ursa has this thing in the lane where people think he's good, but really the hero is not that great of a laner most of the time. Yes, some matchups it can do well, for sure. Some matchups it can do well, can have a good time. But in a lot of the matchups and a lot of the games, you're probably not going to pop off, and not in the lane, right? Especially nowadays, people are getting pretty good at laning. It's relatively easy to kite the Ursa, especially until he's level 3. He doesn't do much at all. But that's why Battle Fury is kind of good on the hero. Being able to rush a ring of health and buy a stick will give you so much sustain that you can really play for last hitting, and last hitting almost only. And with Fury Swipes, as long as you prep the creeps, it's very, very easy to last hit. Like, this hero can have easily 30 last hits by minute 5 if it chooses to focus on that. It's not that difficult. You can honestly even shove in the lane, double up the wave, and go from there, right? So it's pretty easy to lane in that regard. From what I've seen, the Ursa rarely loses because of all the sustain he has. And yeah, he can't put as much pressure, but that's not even fully true, right? Because you have extra HP, you can run at people quite a bit if that's how the lane is played, right? As long as you can still kind of get on top of them with Urshock, you can go that route. On top of that, Ursa has mana regen problems. He absolutely does, right? There's no way around this. You might be like, oh, but Urshock isn't that much mana and Overpower is like no mana. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you have to spam these abilities. You have to spam them like crazy. If you want to farm fast and get on top of people and go over cliffs, whatever it is, you have to spam these spells, and the Battle Fury gives you the mana regen from there. On top of that, I really like the fact that it even just gives you damage. You're gonna hit really, really quickly as Ursa because of Overpower 6 extra times. The Battle Fury giving you flat damage is simply synergistic. Yeah, it doesn't help out with Fury Swipes necessarily because it doesn't lock people down or slow them, or you're not blinking or bashing or diffusing. But you're farming, and that's the big thing. You farm so fast. This hero is actually a ridiculous flash farmer with Battle Fury. If you can get a 13-14 minute Battle Fury, which by the way, a lot of people go Brown Boots Battle Fury. Because if the lane is hard, you just go jungle. The Ring of Health, you can jungle, no problem on Ursa. Hero jungles quite quickly. But if the lane's bad, you just go jungle with the Ring of Health. And if you get like a 13-14 minute Battle Fury, you farm. You start to take Ancients, you just rip through farm. You just rip through the jungle camps. It's insane. From there, you typically can then upgrade to your phase boots. After that, you can go Blink if the game is going that route. After Blink, Basher if the game's free. BKB if it's not. Then obviously you buy the other item. If you bought BKB, you go Basher. If you go Basher, you go BKB. You get what I'm saying? Then typically you'll pick up your DPS item. Often I think MKB is probably the best just to deal with evasion. Daedalus isn't that good on Ursa. It doesn't work with Fury Swipes, so very often you'll see an MKB come out. Sometimes a completed Abyssal if they just need a bit of lockdown. And that's generally what you'll see on Ursa. So give this build a shot if you're a safe laner. All right, and then we have the off lane. This one is fantastic. If you haven't done Midas, bots, Octarine, Doom, you're missing out. This hero is a cash cow. It is ridiculous. Basically, you max Devour, you max your W. Your W lets you push in creep waves, the Scorched Earth, you kill creep waves, you kill neutral camps, you can drag them together, farm that way. The Devour, very straightforward, you eat a creep, you get gold, up to 200 gold per creep every 60 seconds. That's insane, right? 200 GPM is ridiculous, right? Keep in mind, most heroes end the game with about 400 or 500 GPM. Your hero has built-in 200 GPM. And then you buy a Midas, which is also another like 150 GPM or something like that. I don't know exactly what it is, but you get the point, right? It's like 140, 150 GPM. So your hero, if you buy these items, has like built-in 340 GPM. Crazy, right? Crazy. Built in. And then Scorched Earth is a good farming ability. And then Doom is very easy to get pickoffs with, which boosts your net worth even more. So you have this, then you go bots, right? And sometimes you can go blink if you really want to get active and not be too AFK. I like the concept of going Midas BKB. Sorry, I almost forgot the BKB. You probably should go BKB. It's very important. Your hero needs to run in. You do all your damage melee range. You need a BKB. So you buy your BKB, you get your Midas, get your BKB, then you can upgrade to bots. So you don't upgrade your boots earlier, unless you buy mana boots, because you get like the Harpy creep. That's, I'm getting a bit niche now, but basically there's sometimes you buy mana boots. Either way, you go the bots, right? So you got your Midas, your BKB, your bots. And then from there, you can go blink if you want to initiate, but if you want to really go crazy, you can just rush an Octarine, and it's nuts. It brings Devour down to a 45-second cooldown, it brings Midas down, Scorched Earth down, your Infernal Blade down, Doom down, the active ability you get from a creep down, your TP down. I mean, it's insane. Eventually your blink, it's insane how active and how much gold this hero can produce on the map. It can farm 5% of the map and still have 600 GPM. And when you get the Octarine, it's even better. Like, it's ridiculous how much net worth you can get on this hero. And at level 20, you have crazy talents. At level 10, you get Scorched Earth damage. At 15, you get Scorched Earth movement speed. At 20, you get 35 seconds off of Doom. And with that cooldown talent, right, with the 35-second cooldown talent, you bring it down to a 100-second cooldown. And then with the Octarine, I believe it goes down to an 85-second cooldown. If you have Quickening Charm, it goes all the way down to a 75-second cooldown. You can Doom like crazy, and the Octarine gives you enough mana to buy Refresher, and if you don't want to go Refresher, you can go Ags, and you have a 85-second cooldown self-Doom Ags, right? You just put the Doom on yourself, you run around with Doom. It's like, you can get it really early too. Like, you might be like, oh, this is so many items. You can have this at minute like 28, 29. It's nuts. It's so much fun to play as well. So I really recommend this build if you're looking to just like farm a lot, have a good time, scale late game, just pop off. All right, and then finally for the position 4 role, we have Marcy. Now, in terms of starting items, I actually don't recommend going boots. Don't do that. Go tangos, mangoes, maybe a stick, fairy fire, just buy a bunch of regen, trade. Right, from there, you want to go phase boots. Sometimes you can leave it at brown boots, but then just go stick BKB. After BKB, go basher. And if you don't know what this build does, your ulti is insane. It's probably going to get nerfed next patch, unfortunately. Even though the hero's pub win rate isn't that good, pro win rate is quite good, and it's a very, very, very strong hero. Yeah, it's just a very, very strong hero. If you get an early BKB on Marcy, this hero is straight up built different. It's just a different type of hero. The BKB timing on Marcy, you could have 5k net worth. Brown boots, 1 BKB. That's it. That's your 5k net worth right there. Maybe 5.5k, okay? You get the point. You have 5.5k net worth. You can solo kill certain cores, right? If a Quap goes in, if Quap blinks in, and you hop on top of her, even if that Quap BKBs, you can kill her. If she's not careful, she will die. If we're talking about later into the game, when you have Basher, and she blinks in, she's dead. She is dead because you put the sidekick on yourself, which gives you like, I think 65 damage at max. You put that on yourself and then you hit them 3 times. Boom, 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 boom. Late game, you hit them 5 times. And they just die. They insta die. Like literally, oh my gosh. Okay, we had an official game recently and my position 4 player got to a Daedalus as well. This lion exploded in front of my eyes. The fight broke out. He hopped on the lion, BKB, insta-killed him, and then walked up to the CM, and with 2 sets of punches, killed her. Out of the game. 2 kills. Boom. Snap. Done. What can you do? So just be a little bit greedy. Learn how to win the lane. Get your W. Get your Q. Then get your E at level 3. Your hero's stupid. It has 3 broken laning abilities at level 3. Stupid laner, right? Then it scales well. It's like, what doesn't Marcy do? To be fair, before the BKB timing, I will admit, I don't think she's the best mid-game fighting hero pre-BKB. She just has to like get too close to do things, and the stun is actually unreliable. So I will admit, I think Marcy does have a downside, which is that, like, it's the mid-game timing. I think she's a bit weak, but when she gets the BKB, it just turns back online. It becomes a different hero, and it's so much fun. It's like, you won't believe you could feel like you're losing the game the entire game. You get BKB and you just solo kill some TA. And you're like, really? Is that really how this works? Yeah, it's how it works. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out. Peace. And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the GameLeap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.